Welcome to the Esports Meta, your shop. My bad. Tripping up already, just getting in, about to sit down, have some fun. Welcome to the Esports Meta, your place for video game news and competition. I'm your host, Billy Sims, about to bring you everything that we've heard and seen and talked about this past week, and we're ready to talk about it with you. Today, we've got some Magic the Gathering drama. Wizards of the Coast, Wizards Takeover Commander format. It's been brewing, and we're about to talk about it. Also, Overwatch Championship Series Stage 4 Finals is coming up quick, and we've got all the news and info to look out for. Which teams really need to win? We also have a few headlines to go over, some Supervive news. Everyone's looking forward to that game. Some Rival of Aether features. I'm tripping up all over the place right now. Some Rival of Aether features have been announced. We're going to be going over that and a couple more stories. But to do that, I'm going to need to go over it with a pal of mine, Nicholas Layton. Nick, how you doing? Can you hear me? Can you see me?
I can see you.
All right, great. It's a good start, especially after my bad start here. But, you know, some days be like that today.
Yeah, man, I think you got to start with like just bad intros, just playing on them.
Right.
And then we can just nail it. Like that's our thing.
That's going to be the hook to get people in. That's great.
Sure.
But, you know, I'd rather the hook be more something about video games because that's what we're here to talk about. That's what this podcast is, a video game podcast as well as a competition and esport podcast. So I'd like to get to those stories first. But before I do, Nick, how you doing today? And is there anything from this past week you might want to talk about, bring up? You know, because we have a lot on our docket already. But what do you got for us?
Yeah, I don't know if you've seen it, man, but like over the last month, they've released Marvel's Capcom 2 on PC, Steam, and Switch. And Justin Wong has just been like on a tear and terrorizing the community. Like absolutely terrorizing the community.
That's, you know, Justin Wong, famous name, obviously, like, you know, a terror in its own right. But like, I didn't realize they announced that. I didn't realize they released that on Steam. Marvel vs. Capcom 2, MVC 2, you said?
Yeah, no, it snuck out. You know, before it was only on like the Xbox 360 and you could still play it on like Xbox if you owned it. That was like the last time. Oh yeah, dude, like wow. I bought it. Like I still have my 360 just because it's Marvel vs. Capcom on there, and I have like 360 fight sticks.
All right, clean, nice. You just sent me a link too for an article here, so let's take a look at that real quick and see if we can.
Yeah. There's that one. Which one? Which one you got?
All right, Marvel vs. Capcom 2 Pro Justin Wong is a real life final boss. So take us through this, Nick. This is the first time I'm seeing this. What's your takeaway? What's the information here?
Bro, they put up leaderboards for ranked.
Okay.
And Wazler over here, this psycho with his footsies, is like just he's number one. And like he's number one. And like people are raging about it. Like people are posting like they just can't beat him. I think there was like Steam reviews that were left, might have even been deleted. Just people like refunding the game because of how hellish it is to just play against Justin Wong, which is just, it's beautiful.
He can't be the only person in competitive though, is he? Like they've got
no, he's not the only one. But I mean, he is probably playing a lot, you know, like because he remember like Marvel's Capcom 2 and just like Marvel's Capcom in general, he really enjoys his games. So like he's just terrorizing them, man. Like there's other pros, but the other people still participate in other tournaments and stuff. Like Justin Wong is like he's awesome now. Like his YouTube channel is great. He does a lot of content, and he plays a lot online. Like he's having a good time. Like is what it is. Like he's just having the best life right now.
Dude, I can't blame the man, but you know, this article is talking about he's the final boss, so he's at the top of the ladder, but he's at the top of the ladder for PC, PlayStation, and the Switch. That's nuts, man. He's playing three consoles.
Yeah, man. That's why they're calling him the final boss in the article, dude. As I said, dude, he's a terrorist. Like, it doesn't matter. You're like, oh, you know what? I'll just go play on the Switch. There's not many people who are like, I'm going to play competitive fighting games on the Switch, right?
Right.
No, he's there too. Like you thought you could just have a good old time playing on the Switch, and it's like, no, man, you face one person who likes Splatoon, and then you face Justin Wong. Like that's how it goes right now. It's brutal.
I would hope that MMR keeps Justin Wong really far away from me. You know, he would be at the top of the leaderboard, #1 final boss. And if I'm like in that mid rank, I'm not going to be getting matches with him. I shouldn't be, right? Unless it's just like a quick play thing.
This isn't Blizzard. Okay? Like, okay, it doesn't matter how high his MMR is. He needs to get into a game eventually. True. You know? Like, so they just start taking pegs out, man. They just start knocking rings right off that tree. No, he's only 2,100. No, he's only 1,500 today. No, he's only 500. Like, if no one's on, like, the little guy's getting hurt. Like, it's bad. It's absolutely bad. I love it though.
But like Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is such a nostalgic game. One of our childhoods, one of his childhood. He talks about it here. I've just been so happy because it's a game that I grew up playing. This was an insanely famous game and that's been around. So you've got a lot of people who are emotionally attached to it, played it when they were kids, playing it again perhaps now. Could you imagine being that casual person who like just enjoyed this game with their friends back in the day, and you run into a lobby and then here's like the best Marvel vs. Capcom 2 player in history, perhaps?
Right. Like, you might be able to become best friends with Justin Wong if you beat his ass. Like, learn how to beat his ass in Marvel vs. Capcom 2, and then send him a friend request afterwards if you can pull it off. Or if you almost pull it off. Like, just say, like, you can probably become friends with him if you almost pull it off. Like, damn, can I play you a little bit more? I need to beat this. I need to beat you. You know?
Well, I'm sure there's also a chance of becoming really good friends, even if you don't beat him, because you guys just both love the game. And this is one of those games that it's just all about that passion, all about that spark for it. And like, I'm hoping, Nick, maybe do you know a little bit more about this, but like, how's the netcode for it? Because I know the article's talking about this a little bit, but I know personally the 360 version, Xbox 360 version, had a bit of a dodgy sort of netcode, so it was inconsistent and laggy at times, like pretty bad. And like, you can't have that for a fighting game. How has this performance been? Do you know?
There's some like glitches and stuff like that. There's some performance issues, but you know, it's not enough of a deterrent for a lot of stuff. Excuse me, I'm just like burping now. From coffee. For some reason, coffee's making me burp. So it's not really impacting it too bad right now. There's just like a few glitches. There's a few things that are like going on, but nothing too like actually crazy. Let me see. Yeah, it's like crossing glitch detection using format. Yeah, it's like nothing. There's nothing like too crazy. So
I'm glad to hear, because I know that's such a big deal for fighting games. I do want to spotlight this specifically because I just saw a link and I want to bring this back into the screen here. But here's a tweet from Justin Wong himself, the man, the myth, the legend, the terrorist himself. And it seems to be a post, a screenshot of a Steam review. And the Steam review goes, got back from a long, exhausting day of work, decided to give this game a look. Lo and behold, some sweat named Wasler popped out, heard him yelling on the mic, putting the fun in refund. Ruined by night. We'll be refunding the game.
Yo, it's like, it's so beautiful. This is what I was saying, man. Like, no joke though. Like, if this is the way you think about getting bodied from playing like fighting games, just in general, like take your paper elsewhere, Dum Dum Mifflin. All right, like, out of here. Go play paper mache somewhere else. Like, you're gonna get beat, bro. It's like, get better. Don't get hit. No Johns. Like, this is the way it is, man. Absolutely, but like, as you can see, he's just a terrorist right now. He's doing, like, wait, the worst part is like, he's not doing anything wrong, and he's just having such a good time doing it. Yeah. Like, he's has a smile on his face the whole time while he's committing murders.
I can't imagine you'd be yelling, putting the fun in refund, and like a mad sort of tone. I'm putting the fun in refund. No, it's got to be like maniacal and just like cackling. That's brilliant.
I love how Justin Wong doesn't even like confirm this. He just takes it. Like, even if he didn't say putting the fun in refund, like, he's like, yeah, I did that now. That's a thing that I did. So, no, it's cool though. It was a really cool thing. It's been going on for like a month now.
Yeah, and like you said, it sounded like you said it was just news to you, like we just heard about this week, because this is the first I've heard about it, and it seems amazing.
Yeah, dude, like I've been so caught up with so much other stuff for the past couple weeks that like I didn't even get to see this because I haven't been on Steam in like 2 months. So this is phenomenal. Like I love Marvel vs. Capcom too, man. I'll sit there, I'll do all sorts of disgusting things that people will tell me that
let's roll the dice and see if we can play into
I'm not beating him. I'm not beating him.
I know. I'm just saying, like, it'd be an honor just to get to play the Wazzler.
Bro, the way that I would beat him, I think it's banned in like tournament plays. The way that I would beat him, I would literally use Sentinel, and I would just
infinite combo.
Yeah, no, not even infinite combo. I think the only way to beat like any Justin Wong probably is to catch him off guard with the punch laser that becomes unblockable even if you're blocking it. Like it automatically hits you no matter what. You throw a punch and you throw a mouth laser as Sentinel and you just hit. It doesn't matter what's going on. They get hit. Like that's it. It's over. So that's like that would probably be the best way is to use stuff like that, which is definitely banned in tournament.
Let's take the battle tactics off live here, off the stream. This way we don't let Justin Wong know we're coming for him with his banned tactics. And let's move on into our next topic. Basically, we're going to jump into Super Vibe. This week, there's a little bit of news and updates from the game Super Vibe. If you remember, Super Vibe is a 5v5 top-down MOBA shooter. It's based on a lot of smooth movement. They like to call smoothment. But they've had a couple feature updates that coming out, and I want to take us to the video so we can watch it together and go over it, give our thoughts and analysis. So here we go. As well as all the play tests. I got into the play test, but I didn't really have much time to play. But
Joe here. And yup, you read that right. We're bringing Super Vibe to Steam with our biggest, most ambitious open playtest at Steam Next Fest. For the first time, everyone will be able to play 24/7 for the duration of the festival from October 14th through the 21st. The team has been hard at work making the Next Fest build the best Super Vibe has ever been. The art team is pushing hard to upgrade everything, from hunters, the environment, VFX in the UI, from placeholder to more fully realized art. We've polished core systems like movement, shooting, powers, and the way sounds work in-game. We're continuing to focus on performance and stability with fewer crashes and frame drops every playtest. We've brought in voice actors and composers to help bring our characters and world to life.
Love that feeling! Love that feeling!
We've invested more into our onboarding and tutorial. Our cosmetic content is coming online with new skins in every patch. And even though we're in ship mode, we're still taking big design swings to improve the game, like our recent addition of evolving equipment and the new ability leveling system. Finally, we've already got some insanely cool stuff in development for Season 1, including never-before-seen hunters, new kits for previous concepts, and new powers, storm shifts, and biomes to explore. To say I'm hyped would be an understatement. For us, this moment feels like the beginning of the push to open beta, which is right around the corner. Like I said, this is a big moment for us, and we need your help. So if you've been playing for years and love the game, if you've been waiting patiently to get in, if you're brand new and want to support a small indie studio swinging for the fences with something fresh and unique, now's the time. Wishlist us on Steam, come play the demo during Next Fest, and bring the squad.
Warning, the storm is closing.
Looking really solid. Nick, I'm gonna just play this
jazzed.
in the background. Gonna play this in the background, but yeah, that sound is awesome. There's a lot of different things to break down with this. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, no, I'm starting like, dude. I think I said this when we first talked about the game, right? Like this guy's worked at Riot before, right? Like I recognize his face. Like I don't ever remember his name. I think it's Joe, even though I just watched the video. Like I always think it's Joe.
We'll check the playback.
Yeah, we'll check the playback. But like the game looks smooth. You learn so much more about like the game in general. And like here, like just take note, Marvel. Like take note. Look at all the characters. They're highly cosplayable. There's skins coming out, and like I think the game looks smooth. It looks good. The information on the screen is great. Not scream, is great. Like it's not too overwhelming, even though the colors are pretty neon. Just in general. So they're doing it really, really well. Yeah, Joe, got him. Yo, my middle name, my boy, Joey.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
And like, I really enjoy the way they're presenting information since the NDA lift. They've been pretty straightforward. They've been honest. They've been transparent, and like, it's nice to see. It seems they've taken the feedback about new player onboarding so that you can learn the game easier, which is great, especially for a game like this and a situation like this where anybody is going to get a chance to play it during Fest, October 14th, which is about a week away through the 21st. So for a full week, you can play test this if you're interested. So they'll have a revamped like onboarding system, a tutorial. They'll have a better clarity on sound, better clarity on visuals and mechanics of the game. And I really enjoy how they're presenting this information because I do feel like this game has a very solid competition vibe and ethic and moral to it. They want this game to succeed. And, you know, there's going to be aspects where it's not that it's pay to win, but they're going to, you know, need to make their money. They're going to need to stay afloat. So absolutely for that. And they seem to be doing it in a healthy way for the gamer as well as the company. So all for it, man. All for this.
Yeah, no, so the way he presents information, he used to be the person who used to do Riot Please, right?
Oh, really?
Where he basically like talked to the community and stuff like that and give out more information. So that's why like his way of delivering information feels so nice and smooth, right? Like this is why I immediately recognize him. I was like, that's Joe, dude. Like, you know, like their whole entire team at Theorycraft Games are right. Like normally it's like, all right, you know, this whole entire studio, it's a small studio. They're all gamers. They all love games. Right.
Right. That's
normally the most untrustworthy sentence to me. I just don't usually don't even care. Right. Yeah. But like, if you look at it, most of the games that these people played were like RTSs or MOBAs.
That's right.
And this is how that's how this game flows and moves and stuff like that. And then there's other games that they, you know, like Final Fantasy, Halo, stuff like that, Team Fortress. So it seems like they have a pretty good understanding of like how players will want to play the MOBAs themselves, like how things should like kind of work out based on like him being over at Riot and working on League of Legends with so many unique champions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I do feel pretty like confident that this game is going to be at least like average or above average for the most part.
Absolutely. And to that point where the developers, I remember one of the first segments we did on this game when they lifted the NDA and we were able to see what was going on. We did a deeper dive on some of the devs' bios that they had on their site, and we got to see like they were talking about some of the games they were played, right? But some of the games that they played over 1,000 hours in, stuff like Super Smash Brothers, League of Legends. You know, there were so many to name like that were just like they're all bops basically, and like to your point, this team seems to have the great understanding of how a competitive game should work, how it should play so it's fair for gamers, it's fun, it has a good competitive integrity, but you don't need to focus on just trying to win. Obviously, these games are about winning, but at the same time, there's a whole journey in that. And like the way they're developing, the way they're presenting this information, it seems to be very clear, very concise, and just able to onboard people. This game is going to be a hit. I think it might take a little slow depending on how their marketing goes, but you know, with this playtest, I think it's going to get people amped up, hyped up. The top-down MOBA battle royale genre is a little bit unique, but I think it's going to start catching people in it, and it's going to pull from a lot of different areas. But that might be what, you know, is hesitant for some, where it feels like it's. But again, that makes it great that they're going to have a new in-depth onboarding system, that they're simplifying the ability ranking up, upgrading system, all those little things to take away friction points, to just make it easier for you to play the game. I'm a third party here, but I'm all for this game, dude. This looks awesome. So
one of the things to also note is like Joe's the CEO, right? And like one of the games, like most recently, right? The initial release of League of Legends Wild Rift, the MOBA, the, you know, mobile version of League of Legends, right? Which is like a little bit different. Like he's one of the people who oversaw the development and the publishing of that Teamfight Tactics and League over the whole tenure that he was at
Riot.
At Riot, but then he was also like an executive producer at Bungie, bro.
Oh,
like
sick,
he did
dude.
Halo, he did Halo 3, Halo Reach, and then he did Destiny. Like this guy's a G. Like So like, and also like to speak on the 1,000-hour thing, I literally think that every single person had like, if in order to get hired, you weren't getting hired unless you had 1,000 hours in at least like some games.
Put it on your resume, right?
Every last one of them has 1,000 hours. Like they're not all the same, but they're definitely like, some people are like 1,000 hours of World of Warcraft, Dark Souls, and Diablo 3. Like that's like,
yeah, dude.
you know. So I'm jazzed. I'm super hyped about it.
At that point, yeah, like you put it on the resume, it looks good, and like everybody's bringing their own perspective, their own experience and expertise into the mix here, but it's looking really solid how they're building it, how they're developing it. So it's a no-brainer. Go to Steam right now, wishlist it. I'm gonna do that in just a second, but you know, here it is. Make sure, yeah, there we go on screen. Just head down to the Steam page and sign in, of course, but you'll be able to wish list it, and then you'll be get a chance to play it, test it. Excuse me. Get to play test it next week at Steam Fest, starting on the 14th of October, running to the 21st of October, dude. So let's get duos going, man. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm super jazzed about this because everything we just talked about there. You know, any final thoughts before we move on?
No, you better not call this clunky like you do League of Legends, bro. Like, dude, it's clunky.
Yeah, I know. In my defense, though, that game is like 15 years old at this point, and like I desire a little bit more.
Smooth as spaghetti, homie. Smooth as spaghetti is what that game is called.
It's a good game, man. It's a good game, and so is Supervive. It looks like it's going to be a good game. I'm definitely excited for it, and I can't wait for all the gamers out there to get their hands on it and play it. Let us know what your thoughts are on the things we're talking about. Has Justin Wong terrorized you when you're playing Marvel vs. Capcom? Are you super excited about Supervive with us? Let us know in the comments. Comment on this live stream, on the podcast, whatever it is, however you're viewing this. We'd really love to know because we're gamers too, and we want to know the gamers' opinions. Or you can check us out on our social media at the Esports Meta on any of the platforms that you find yourself. We're there too. All right, but another game I'm looking forward to, and I'm going to do a quick segment, a smooth segment. I don't want to say that, actually. I was going to make a smoothment joke like they have for Supervive, but I'm not going to do smegment. Not going to say it, but we're going to move into the next topic, dude, and that's Rivals of Aether. It's another game we're really looking forward to, a game that Ludwig is producing as far as distribution goes, and they had an update from I guess the CEO or the lead developer, but here's the man, here's the vision, and let's get talking about it.
Rivals of Aether 2 is releasing later this month, and we cannot wait to finally put this passion project of ours into your hands.
October 23rd.
Throughout the game's development, one of the guiding principles for our team has been creating something that our amazing community can easily love and feel good about supporting. That's why we announced at EVO this year that all of our current and future fighters will be free, forever. We want to ensure that no major aspects of gameplay are ever locked behind a paywall or grinding. With our release coming up soon, we're excited to finally be able to share some more of our plans for the game at launch and beyond. That's why today we're kicking off a short series of videos where our studio lead gives you all the details of what's coming to the game on our PC launch October 23rd. The topics today will focus on the core gameplay features that will be in Rivals of Aether 2 at launch. This will be the first in a 3-part series of videos. Future topics will include a deep dive into our progression and economy, as well as our plans for the game post-launch.
Hey everyone, I'm Dan Fernacey, the studio lead at Aether Studios, and today we're going to be talking about some features that are coming to Rivals of Aether 2 at launch.
Game modes.
Alright, so game modes at launch, starting with the most important one, it's online play. You'll be able to play Rivals of Aether 2 using our server-based rollback netcode. You'll be able to play in 1v1 matches, 2v2, and free-for-all, and you can do this with your friends using our lobby system, or you can matchmake to find new opponents. Additionally, you'll be able to play all these modes locally on one computer with your friends. In addition to Versus mode, we'll also be featuring a tournament mode that's built for live competition. It features built-in stage striking and stage banning, and we even went one step further and built in rock, paper, scissors, so you can avoid all that awkwardness when you're at your local. And if you want to get better, then you're going to need practice, and that's when you're going to go into training mode. Here, you can set the CPU to a variety of options, you can view hitboxes, and you can use our save state system to practice scenarios over and over. And the last local mode is very exciting. It is arcade mode. In this mode, you'll play against CPU opponents in a variety of challenges, including a team battle, horde mode versus multiple opponents, and a boss battle against an abyss enemy. This mode was not initially planned to be at launch, but we were able to squeeze it in, and I'm very excited that the team could pull it off, and you can look forward to playing it day one. Along with the gratification of getting better, we also want to reward our players.
Before we get too deep into the video, they've already said a lot, and I want to just break it down a little bit. What I just heard is they're going to have 1v1, 2v2, and free-for-all mode. They're going to have a training range, practice mode. They're going to have save states so that you can put certain moments into play and practice it over and over again. Possibly even like look at frame data a lot easier that way. But, you know, so far, if I'm missing anything, this sounds like every fighting game. This is a fighting game that's made by fighting game lovers for fighting game lovers. Like, this just seems like a passion project. Rivals of Aether 1 was absolutely that, where it's coming from out of wave dashing, etc. But to see this being implemented for 2 and their next putting the game that they're putting out, the next version of this game, all the characters are free. Like, this just seems amazing. This seems like a fighting game made for fighting game people.
Dude, it looks like it's just looking to take over. Like, it just wants to show up at like Evo and just be like, look at, like, Smash guys, come on over here. Like, you don't have to deal with Nintendo anymore. Like, get rid of dad Nintendo. We can get actual prize support into something that's basically like Smash for the most part, right? Like, this is the best, we'll say, like, spiritual successor to like Melee, right? Like, it's not really like it, like Brawl and stuff like that was like the additional one, but like this looks like it's like Melee for the most part, considering, you know, coming from wave dashing stock and all that.
And I did forget to add that they had the strike and pick bands for stages and then rock, paper, scissors. So like you can just, the heap said is a joke where you can avoid that awkwardness, but like, that's great. Like, you could be able to do that in a tournament mode. Like, incredible. Not every AAA fighting game comes out with this, and here this small indie dev is doing it. So they're putting the players first, they're putting the community first, and I really want to see this succeed. This is awesome to hear, awesome to see.
Yeah, I mean, like the practicing a specific moment, dude, this is all right. So in Smash, the way you still probably even do this with the new one, right? The way you used to do it in Brawl and in Melee was that you'd have 2 controllers sitting there, and you would have to walk the person to the spot, and then you would whap him up, and then you'd literally have to walk his ass back to the spot again. Like, it's brutal, but you know, that's kind of the way that you had to practice in some cases, right? Like, that's the way that we found out, like, Wolf goes through like the ledge like way differently in Brawl compared to like other, depending on like where you're doing his dash, his side B. So, you know, it's just super interesting, man.
Yeah, man. The practice range the lab is always where the scientists excel. They find all the secrets of the game, and it's great to be able to see this behavior, this save state kind of moment, seeing hitboxes, hurt boxes right there, all the frames and the circles right there, the directions you're going to go, how far you're going to go with the damage, etc. I know Smash has kind of picked that up, but it's even better to see this be integrated for a game like this off the bat. You know, I want to move into the next part here, into progression. I'm going to turn the sound back on.
Along with the gratification of getting better, we also want to reward our players even further. There will be character XP that you can earn across all modes that will level up your characters and grant you either currency or cosmetics each time you level up. There will also be a new event every month, and any XP you earn during that time will go towards cosmetics themed to that month. No, it's nothing like a battle pass. It's a seasonal progression bar with rewards that are frequently cosmetic, and I guess it is kind of like a battle pass, but it's better because it's completely free.
There you go. Just slapping people in the face. Just slap. Like, it's cute, right? Because like, as far as like fighting games that are like Smash or Mortal Kombat, just like fighting games in general, you usually like, you don't have to try to retain players. You have to get people into your game. Is like where you're like really struggling is the acquisition, right? Yeah. Maintaining people who love Marvel's and Capcom is super easy, as we can tell with Justin Wong go like, shit, released, let's go. So
The
like
game is
as
like
soon as this
25
gets in the
years
hand,
old, and it's still getting like, a
exactly.
ton of people playing it.
So like as soon as this hits the masses and more people from the Smash community start playing it, like, come on, man. Yo, Sonic Fox, check it out, bro.
I think
like,
to your point, the more people, especially like at competitions like Evo, that are exposed to it, that are willing to give it a shot to pick up the low skill floor for this game into the high skill ceiling of this game, they're gonna get addicted. They're gonna love the feel of it. Even if they're not really into platform fighters, this is going to be something they're going to find that their friends are playing, and they're going to jump in. And the one thing I wanted to, what did they do before? I missed. It was something cool. I forgot that they mentioned, but like the fighting game mode, the progression with the free battle pass is nice.
The solo mode where they have like the nether bosses.
Yeah, and then the more you play a specific character, where is it? Right here. Yeah, the more you play a specific character, excuse me, the more you level them up. So if you're just a Luigi main, basically, you're gonna play Luigi out the gate. You're gonna play them furiously, and it's gonna show.
I'm talking about.
Yeah, so gotta love that. Absolutely.
Yeah, dude. Champion mastery is like literally one of the things that like I think everything with multiple characters should have. Like where you get like if you reach level 20, you get a unique skin. Fuck everybody else. Like I'm very hard. Like yes. Fuck everybody else. Spend the time, get something cool. No one else has it. You can't buy it. Don't recolor it and put it out for money. Just like something specifically for Luigi mains, bro. Like with their little tiny kicks, you know?
Yeah. So let's rock it into this next part. Sounds like a battle pass. State of the game. Here we go. We just heard about the battle pass. They're gonna have a free battle pass essentially.
I'm super excited at what our team was able to accomplish for the launch of Rivals of Aether 2. The game is playing great, both online and offline, and it's super fun to level up your characters and unlock new rewards. And we're not done yet. With your help and your feedback, we plan to update and improve these features so the game keeps getting better. While Rivals of Aether launched into early access, for Rivals of Aether 2, we're doing a full launch because this game already has more characters and more features than Rivals of Aether did when it launched in early access. We're also setting ourselves up to have as strong of launch as possible so we can expand our team and add more features as the game grows. Don't forget, this is the first video in our series, and next week we'll be doing a deep dive on our cosmetics, our currencies, and our in-game shop. We love our community, so keep that feedback coming and stay tuned next week for more information.
Looking good. October 23rd is when the game is coming out. You can wishlist it right now on Steam. Drop into Ludwig's stream and let him know that you want to play this game because he's putting this game out. He's helping distribute this. Got to support this because it's looking awesome. And that was the thing I forgot. This is going to be playable on Steam. That means there's the Steam Deck. People are going to be able to play it mobile, bring it around on a Steam Deck, or maybe even a laptop, and they're going to hook up controllers and whatnot. So we'll see some mobility to this offline mode for sure.
Yeah, definitely give these guys some love. Like, the game looks phenomenal.
Yeah, dude. We'll keep you posted about the information as it releases. Next week, they said it's currencies and cosmetics, so probably in a couple days. And then the final week, it's going to have post-launch news and plans. And that's definitely where we're going to want to keep an eye on it as far as how it's performing and what they're looking to do with it overall.
Did you see the elephant's name?
Loxodon, yeah.
No, Loxodont. Loxodont. Yeah, that's what I thought it was if you go back in the video. But yeah, it's it looked like Loxodont. Made me crack up.
Loxodont. I mean, there might be a meme brewing right there, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Loxa, don't even
So
try.
good.
He's definitely a character that looks like a big brawler. He's got a sword. Maybe it's like a Ganon type where it's like the reach, but like slower. But we'll get hands on that as soon as we can. Let you know. Let us what you think, what you see, etc. All the good stuff there. I think that's gonna wrap us up for the Rivals of Aether content right now. News and updates. Thanks for joining us for that. Thanks for watching, paying attention, listening to us. All those things. We really appreciate you being here. And let's get moving into our next topic on hand. This one is a little bit of a, I want to kind of breeze through this one, but this next segment is interesting because of something I didn't expect. We're going to be talking about the Red Bull Wololo. I think I said that correctly, but more or less this is an Age of Empires tournament that Red Bull sponsored and ran this past weekend. They ran multiple games, multiple versions of Age of Empires, 1, 2, and I believe, what's the third one? There's a fourth one, I can't remember. It's Age of something, but that happened this past weekend, and boy, was it a tournament. And you got to love Red Bull because they are a constant supporter and sponsor to esports, to competition, to these extreme fringe events. We all love the boxcar downhill race that they do every year, watching the different boxcars get trashed as they fly down the roads over the bumps and stuff, bumps and jumps. So here they are sponsoring Age of Empires, a game that's been around for well over 30 years. Wonderful game. But, you know, they're definitely bringing their own little style to it. Nick, I imagine you're going to be a little bit surprised, maybe a little bit mad, maybe a little bit glad at this. And like, same with our viewers, if you guys are watching, let us know your thoughts on this. Because long story short, this tournament was held in a medieval castle. They decided to hold the event inside of a castle for Age of Empires. Here's the actual castle's website. Let me bring us to a wider view. It's Castillo de Almodovar. I believe this is in Germany. I want to double check that, but it's amazing they hold events for this. And then amazing that Red Bull sponsored an Age of Empires tournament in this venue. This is awesome, dude. What are you thinking, Nick? How does this impress you or not impress you?
It's kind of cool. Age of Empires is a super fun game. I have very good memories of playing Age of Empires with the Irish Longbowmen and everything. So I think it's super cool to put it into a castle. I think like it would be awesome if other people did some like cool things like this, but I don't know how you're going to top a castle for the most part.
Right. And where is it going to make sense? Like, you're going to bring Rocket League into like a car destruction derby or something?
Yeah, right. Like Demolition Derby, and it's just like a Rocket League tournament going on in the back.
That might be sick, dude. That might be sick.
Yeah, no. It's also in Spain.
Okay, it is in Spain.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Nice castle in Spain. Probably filmed something in Game of Thrones. You never know.
Almost definitely. If they're holding events for
Oh
Age of
yeah,
Empires and
yeah,
Red Bull.
100%, dude. Game of Thrones in that castle. Yeah, it's on their website.
Sick. Here's a bunch of different pictures of the castle, just to kind of give you a perspective and view. I imagine that Wi-Fi is either really good or really bad here, just with all the walls and whatnot. I haven't been in a castle.
Yeah, how
before,
thick the
so I
walls
don't
are and
know.
stuff. They just have Google Web or whatever it is, like the Google.
Yeah, Wi-Fi.
Oh my god.
Google Fi.
Yeah.
And,
Google Fi.
you know, this thing's up on a hill. This thing's up on a hill too, so I can't imagine that they're running a single internet cable all the way up the hill like that. I'm sure they are. I'm sure it's adapted into the 22nd century, 21st century here. But, you know, this is just amazing to see. Age of Empire was a game that was originally from the 90s, and here we are in 2024 playing it in a castle and still playing it. And speaking of playing it, let's get into the details of the tournament. We're not going to go over all the bracket and whatnot, but I do want to highlight this game and this tournament because it was in a castle, man. That's so cool.
What was the prize support? That's always me.
All right. So Red Bull Wololo. I'm not going to butcher some of the words here. There's the logo. It's in the castle, etc. It was a format 1v1 best of 5. This was Age of Empires 1 Return to Rome. The game speed was fast, population 250. That I know all the Age of Empire heads, that's important. Here's the map pool that they're playing. Desert Ridge, Gold Mountain, Hill Country, Muddy Waters, Plateas, River Crossing, and Sahara. You might be getting some flashbacks if you used to play this game and just know, oh yeah, man, that was the map. That was golden, chef's kiss. Mwah. But prize pool for this one of 3 tournaments they held was $18,000 for first and second place. First place went to Chimse Dinong. Congratulations. Second place, $6,000 to Juan Toi. Is it Thu or Toi? I can't. But, you know, congratulations. I apologize for the name there. It seemed like they were teammates, Spartacus as well, and they're going against each other 1v1 for the finals here. So, Nick, $18,000 prize pool on this first tournament. Any initial thoughts? I believe you're muted, dude.
For this game, homie, this game was released on CD. This game was released on CD and has an $18,000 prize pool for 2024. You're out of your mind to be disappointed at this. This is crazy good. This is like having $1 million. Like this game was on CD, bro.
Yeah.
CD. It was around when Doom came out.
That's true. I played this game on my Dell Gateway computer back in 1998. So absolutely, dude.
Jesus.
Jesus
congratulations. Christ.
Definitely love to see this. Red Bull still supporting this tournament, the Wooloo. On that, let's move into the next tournament just to kind of go over the prize pool. Which game was this one for? I think this is just Red Bull. Age of Empires 2. Yeah. Okay. They played Empire Wars. And the format, this was a multi-day one. Maybe this was a bigger picture for it, but double elimination bracket in the group stages, best of 3 matches, the group stages, eliminator and deciders were best of 5, and rematches, there are no rematches. That's a little bit wordy. Can't understand that. But okay, then moving into the playoffs, it was single elimination brackets, semifinals, best of 7, some integrity there. And then the finals were best of 9. So giving people chances to make moves, do some mind games in that. For this map pool, this map pool, they're playing Cliffbound, Depression, Dune Springs, Golden Stream, Gulch, Hollow Woodlands, Isthmus, Carts, Mountain Dunes, River Divide, Sandrift, Shrubland, and The Passage. I think some of these are native to the game, and I think some of these are custom created maps that have found their place in the competitive pool. And for the prize pool for this competition, this one, Age of Empires 2, we're jumping all the way up to $138,000 US. Big jump there, Nick. And I'm going to run down first, second, third, and fourth just to kind of give us our top right here, right now. And then I want to get your thoughts on this prize pool and that difference from Age of Empires 1 into 2. First place, we had Hera from Canada. Congratulations on $45,000 from GL. Second place was also from GL, the Viper. I believe that's not Switzerland. That's the Netherlands, I believe, right? That flag, Nick?
My contact just fell out hilariously enough.
At just the perfect timing. So the Viper, well, congratulations on second place and your $24,000 prize pool. Third and fourth place, we have Hart and Leary, taking away $15,000, both at, I think that's Wii Sports or WE Sports. Congratulations on third and fourth place at this amazing event. It probably was a great time. I saw some behind the scenes stuff from some of the casters, some videos where basically they're cutting prosciutto and some other fancy foods at a tent on the side of the castle wall. So you're overlooking this amazing like landscape and scenery. You're getting fed this like awesome catering, and then you're playing this game. You're just enjoying it. It sounds like a great time, and I'm sure the players had a wonderful time as well. Also, congratulations to Sebastian, Tato, ACCM, and MBL for taking 5th through 8th place. Nick, with this, what's your thoughts? Any input here? How you vibing on this $138,000 prize pool for Age of Empires 2?
I mean, that's absolutely crazy. Age of Empires 2 is a better game because I actually own the HD version installed on my PC. Okay, like the game is fun as hell. Yeah, no, it's legitimately good. And I love Age of Empires 2. I love it so much more than Age of Empires 1. And honestly, some of those maps look super fun. My favorite is like literally being separated by water, so you have to do more just to get over, just to fight people.
Right.
So
it also includes that Navy sort of aspect of the game and picking which empire to pick on it.
That's what I'm saying. And also, since they were in Spain, I'm gonna go ahead and say that was like a bone-in ham that they were cutting, not prosciutto. like the $2,000 ham leg. In case like you didn't know, like that was probably what it was.
Yeah, no, it's a good chance. Hamon. All right.
Yeah,
Yeah, dude. I was just gonna move us forward, but you're right. But either way, the food is probably delicious. The catering cart, the event was well done. Red Bull does it well, and that's the thing I'm emphasizing. Why I wanted to talk about this. The last tournament block they had here was for Age of Empires Age of Mythology Retold. So I believe this is like the newer version of a game, one of the newest versions of the game. The map pool, the format is 1v1 best of 5, just straight up. So this might have been more of a show match, more of just a fun side thing happening through there. It's a pretty big map pool. I'm not really going to go too much into it, but let's go into the prize pool. $10,000 split between first and second place. Themista taking first place, $6,400 first place prize. And then I think that's the Greek flag, dude, if I'm not mistaken, or I might be mistaken.
I'm not good with flags, but
way,
it's Themista is probably,
Themista.
it sounds a little.
Either way, sure. Second place was Recon from the UK, bringing home $3,600 in second place for this event.
Yeah.
It's
dude, the prize pool is crazy good.
Amazing to see. So cool that they're able to have this event. And yes, just double checked. Themista is from Greece, or is a Greek agent.
Yeah, it's like a
Mars player.
Yeah, it's like an ancient name, Themista.
Yeah, I just clicked on his player profile and brought us in there. Dude, this event, gotta love it. I hope to see some more creative aspects like this, playing in a castle. I don't know how you would top this, but you love.
I know, dude. With Red Bull,
yeah,
bro. The next space game, they're gonna take people into space. Like they just had a guy jump from the stratosphere. Like they're gonna absolutely take people into space to play video games and film it. Like
I think that was like 10 years ago at this point, and unless they did it again. But the most recent thing I saw was a dude was BMXing with ramps and stuff on the back of a train, on the top of a train. And like basically the bike was staying in the same spot as the train was going by underneath him. It was nuts to see. So Red Bull's always doing really cool stuff like this. Hopefully they continue to do it on the esports plane. It's fun to see a lot of great stuff happening, a lot of great risk taking and competition, and love to see it. And we want to know if you'd love to see it. If there's something that we missed that you love, that we need to check out, let us know. Hit us in the comments or check us out on our social media at the Esports Meta. We're on all your favorite social media platforms. Anyone that you're there, or even the ones that you're not there, we're still there. We're doing a thing. But at this point, though, Nick, we're about halfway through our show. We've got a couple more topics to go over, a little bit more news. Upcoming, we have, what do we call it? We've got the Wizards of the Coast Magic the Gathering drama around Commander. Sorry. And then we'll also be going over our pick'ems for League of Legends this week, some scores, some quick highlights there, and Overwatch Stage 4 finals, which teams need to win. That's all coming up, and we're going to be breezing into that very shortly. But for now, Nick, we have Arena World Championship. We had Cup number 2 happen this past weekend, and we're going to just run down a bit of the brackets. We're not going to go over a lot of it. There's a lot happening. These competitions have been great. A lot of people have been really enjoying the War Within. I think an alluded to suspected player count has been over 11 million for the game. So we're seeing a lot of lifeblood into Battlegrounds, into Arena, and we're seeing this competition really light up and heat up. And we're going to see that, generally speaking, with this bracket down here. So down at the bottom, in the broadcast bracket, welcome to the jungle. Welcome to the Jung. Ends up taking first place. Congratulations. They do end up beating Team Liquid to make it happen. And, taking home the dub. Just straightforward. Congratulations to them. A big, big, big win for them. Here's a little bit of the tweet, just kind of congratulating Welcome to the Jungle for the NA Cup 2 champions. Nick, did you get a chance to watch any of the tournament? I only caught a little bit in checking comps, and it seemed we did have a lot of different viabilities, a lot of different comps being played, a lot of different strategies being taken on here. Did you get a chance to watch any of the thing, or do you have any thoughts about what the compositions were had here? Like what kind of builds and team makeups did they do?
No, I didn't get a chance to watch it at all, dude. This has been a packed week for me with League of Legends, and my regular life going on. There's I got a lot of matches to watch every week for the past weeks, the whole week.
Right.
Sorry.
I mean, that's also why, I just try to split the difference here and try to cover as much as we can, so we can bring this information out to you guys. Also, we want to know what you guys are watching. So if you saw the competition, how did you feel? What were the comps that you saw happen? I saw, RMP, Rogue Mage, Priest was out there a lot, but then I also saw, Death Knight? Feral Druid, Warlock, and Priest also have a lot of representation on this. I think Kung Fu Cleave was a big comp with Hunter DK though. So it was maybe, I guess it was stable Cleave because the DKs right now, Unholy DKs, have just an entire army they're sending at you. And I bet you the Hunters are just running Beast Mastery. So a lot of different comps happening, a lot of different representation and strategies going through, even some Shadow Priest comps. What is it? Shadow Priest, Disc Priest, making a play at it. I think Peekaboo's team was playing that for a couple times, trying to find their strategy and success, maybe to directly counter the other team. But, you know, there was a lot happening. It was really cool to see overall. But I want to highlight one specific play, as well as the congratulations to Welcome to the Jung on winning. But this was a matchup. I think this was the finals of Team Liquid versus Welcome to the Jungle. I don't want to blow out the eardrums here, so let me bring the sound down a little bit. So here we are in the match. Right now, Team Liquid's playing the move. They're trying to get it back into the finals. They had lost previously. They're trying to make the move back into it. They're playing the move. Right now, Team Liquid is up 2-1 for this match. They win this round, they win this match, and they move on. So that's the setup here. Oh, actually, real quick, the comps. The move is playing Disc Priest, or is that Holy Priest? It might be Disc Priest. Peekaboo is the Rogue, and then Death Knight, Unholy Death Knight. Okay, so it's Disc Priest, Rogue. I can't tell which, if it's Subtlety or if it's Assassination. But we'll tell, and then we're playing Unholy Death Knight. On the other side for Team Liquid, you've got Sea-Doo playing Resto Shaman, Trill also playing Rogue, and then Mez playing Unholy DK. Okay, so let's roll this in. It's about a 19-second clip. Let's see what happens.
Beautifully done there, but at the same time, everybody's rolling down. Peekaboo could fall to the execute damage. He's got nothing left. No Cloak of Shadows. He's going to be able to stay alive for just a second. Abster still has the swap. He might need to use it. He gets kicked on Shadow, and he can't use it. As a result, Team Liquid somehow managed to do it. Whiskey surely will fall here, and they managed to. Beautifully done there, but at the same time, everybody's rolling down. Peekaboo could fall to
lock down Peekaboo. Everybody is at basically half health at the start of this clip. We're towards the end of this match, about a minute 50 in, only a 10% dampening going on, and Team Liquid was able to lock down the Priest, lock down the Rogue, Peekaboo, so they couldn't health swap and they couldn't evade, get out. I think at that point they had already pressured out a lot, but like that's just overall the vibe and the play made here. It's a very subtle play, but it made the entire difference because it steamrolled them 3-1 here. Nick, did you see anything specific? Am I missing something, or what's your thoughts?
No, I mean, like, dude, like, unless you're a WoW player, like, you miss everything. Like, there's so much on the screen. But no, like, it's exactly how the caster said for the most part. Like, it's just the lockdown. And Pika already had to blow everything based on what he said, and like at that point, when you don't have Vanish, when you don't have Cloak of Shadows. When you don't have evasion, like you're a sitting duck as a rogue, right? You can be potentially disarmed. Like I don't know about DKs in the War Within, like if their pet has disarm or anything like that.
It's
stuff
that
like
stun
that
right now. No, it's that stun right now. The pet stun.
It's just a gnarl. Yeah. Okay, so it's the same thing as like always then.
And like the big play here is they end up getting the silence or the kick onto the Priest, and so the Priest can't life swap. So life swap will literally swap my 80% HP for your 20% HP whenever I cast it, right? They kicked it or they blanket silenced it, so they were not able to get Peekaboo the swap. But either way, the pressure is on. If Peekaboo got the life swap, they would have been able to switch into the DK because the DK's defenses are all down as well. So tough match. Team Liquid really putting the pressure on here. Was able to put the situation into perspective. Even just kind of pressure out. Maybe it's the Resto Druid versus the Priest, the Disc Priest capacity or ability, but man, fun to see. This is why the arenas and arena events are always good to see. This was only weekend 2, Cup 2 of that, but congratulations to Welcome to the Jung and on making first place. Congratulations to Team Liquid taking second place. It's a big win, and there's a lot more to come for this. You can actually take a look and watch week 3 AWC Cup 3 for North America or EMEA this coming weekend. October 9th is the open bracket. 11th and 13th is when they're broadcasting, and you get to see the actual tournaments. The top 3 teams are going to be going to the grand finals in November, and then the bottom 5 teams are going to be going to the gauntlet, where they're going to have a chance to fight for their place at the grand finals. Overall, they're fighting for $20,000 in the gauntlet and $300,000 for the grand finals. Big money here. Love to see it, and definitely the bread and butter of WoW esports. Though I do feel like the Race to World First is the better WoW esport. Maybe it's a hot take, but you know.
Like as far as viewer is concerned, like probably, but like World of Warcraft PvP is probably like the cleanest, like PvP, in general. Like with the way the 3D models and characters are and everything like that. Yeah. It's like the only PvP of its kind. It's super solid. Yeah.
Super smooth, super fluid. And like people do have frustrations with the balancing sometimes and maybe how it plays, but I have heard good things about this iteration of it in the War Within. You know, so maybe this is going to get a lot more people into it, involved in it. I know they just added a battleground system where you can go into rated battleground solo. You don't need to do YOLO battlegrounds within looking for group raid finder.
Yeah, no duo queue either. No duo, just straight solo, which is cool, but also like one of the biggest downside. Like that's a great upside because a lot of people really don't play with people they know too much anymore. But also, like, it would be real cool if you actually like found somebody you can play with. Like, you found somebody who's like super friendly, and then you're like, oh, I guess we got to go to regular BGs if we want to play together. But you know,
right,
is what it is.
That might be a strategy for them to just onboard people into PvP because it can feel intimidating. Of course, Arena is absolutely the pinnacle of MMO PvP. You know, even if it's World Arena, but like WoW does it a great job. The Arena World Championship is an incredible way. You had so many of those streamers. Those players just now that we saw are also streamers. You can hop in, you can see how they're doing. You can see, you know, the strategies, get their thoughts on things, you know, just hang out. They do BGs with players, all different things. So it's a great community going. There's definitely ways to find people, but to your point, absolutely. You're probably not playing with just your friends anymore. You're probably playing with people you find, guilds and streamers, etc. But love to see it. Hopefully see more. You can check out AWC Cup 3 this coming weekend, and they have another one next weekend beyond that. Nick, any wrap-up thoughts for AWC Arena World Championship, or can we move on into our next little subject matter?
I would just say Peekaboo. Go watch Peekaboo's channel. Like he's PvPing all the time, but he also like plays other classes and like tries to get like better at other classes. Even like he's not too good at like Moonkin, but he's like, yeah, we're doing it. We're playing Moonkin today.
I think
like let's gear him up, boys.
I think he also tries to play other roles sometimes, which is nice to see. A Sea-Doo would be a healer version of that, but I believe he sticks to mostly supports. I don't think he branches out beyond that. So, you know,
Peekaboo does every single spec and class.
It's really good to see those streamers have that knowledge, get that insight into how they play, and just trying to expand. And also, you know, we've talked about this with esports. You need to have those personalities be able to not just know life the game and be good at the game, but they have to be able to connect with the community, be able to engage, be able to make it accessible to the average person, because that's how this thrives. But anyway, that's a conversation for another time. And you're absolutely right. Go check out Peekaboo. He's definitely the person to look at when you're talking about Rogue, when you're talking about just getting into WoW arenas and just what's going on, how to play, etc. All right. But we got to get into another subject matter. And this one is one of our marquee events for this episode. We're going to be talking about Magic the Gathering now and the drama that's been circulating over the past couple weeks. Very quickly, the TLDR, Wizards of the Coast is taking back control of Commander. And maybe it's not quite taking back control. Maybe it's like, well, nobody else is doing it now because the council that controlled the format had resigned. So now it's defaulting back to Wizards of the Coast. Nick, you're more of the person who's had an eye on this. I just want to make sure. All right, there we go. I just want to make sure I have all the information correct here. Here's an article from GameRant. Magic the Gathering Commander Advisory Group member resigns. This started off slowly where it's just like one or two people resigning. I believe
this is Josh.
Josh Lee Kwai resigned from the Commander Advisory Group due to recent polarizing cards. What was the recent polarizing situation that's caused a lot of drama?
So for him, so they banned a couple cards. They banned 4 cards, I think, maybe even 5. But there were really like a couple of them that were really important, right? And the cards in question are Mana Crypt and Jeweled Lotus, Dockside Extortionist, and Nadu. And I think there might have been one more, but again, like it doesn't matter. The other ones matter the most. The easiest way to describe Mana Crypt is it allows you to get quick mana. It's just like quick early access mana. A lot of players don't like this in general. I've talked about Commander a few times in my position on it. It's really weird that a casual format with rule 0 of we can say if our group of friends has rules of house rules, like they just have house rules in the game. So they made bans, and it was probably personal opinions for a lot of these people on the community that don't like certain power level decks that do this sort of thing with like early ramp and stuff like that. Jewel Lotus, again, being more like, getting you some cards. Josh, on the other hand, was a person who was against it on the committee. So after like the backlash came out, he was like, I'm out, guys. Like, it's just not going to be good anymore. Like, there's no way to really recover from this when no one elects these guys in general.
Yeah, that's the sort of interesting thing that I had questions for and about. So like this is a format that's usually more casual, Commander. It's more for just like not an average player. It's the cards that are required can be from an entry level aspect, average level, but like really thrives when you have these cards from all over Legacy, right?
So like this is like I'll say this on camera, right? The biggest lie of the Commander community is that they're casual. They're not casual. Like casual player, like
yeah, I agree with you. I just want to like emphasize the rule set seems to be more of a casual format. Like it's not that they're not competitive. They are trying to play to win, but in that same way, it's to have fun, I believe, and that's where that casual aspect is, and that's not a bad thing. It's just stating, what it is.
Yeah, people want to play and they want to have fun, but like a lot of TCGs, there becomes staples in Commander. And so a lot of the games tend to be the same cards that tend to be certain power levels, and it just becomes more of like people banning things because it's more detrimental to the experience than it is how powerful a card is.
Right. And
right.
That ban has usually been more of like house rules, like you said. It's like it's pretty rare for them to ban on an official level for Commander, right?
It doesn't happen all that often. And usually it's just like because the community is like facing one egregious card that they really don't like or something like that. Okay. But again, like in my experience with Commander, nobody fucking plays these cards. Like a lot of the time, like the people that I play Commander with, like they'll end up having like very, very casual. And I don't want to say, and this is not a negative, right? Like this is the reason why, like this is where Commander's good. They have bad decks. Bad decks tend to be fun. Good decks tend to be painful. Okay. And that's why they have power levels from 0 to 9 or something like that. Like, right. I don't even keep up with the power levels, but their commanders also have power levels and stuff like that. So it's a little too complicated in that sense, but the bad decks is what you want to play in Commander because it makes more fun. The games tend to be different and you don't play the staple cards out of 100 cards. You know.
Yeah. I just want to kind of bring us back into like, okay, Josh resigned and it says that Kwai and other members felt blindsided by the ban announcement and were not consulted by the rules committee. I'm a little bit disconnected here because what's it called? The Commander Advisory Group is generally the people that inform the game, the play test this format. And like my understanding is that they somewhat control the aspect of this, but the things that the communities are clashing back at was Nadu and Jeweled Lotus, I believe.
Jeweled Lotus, Mana Crypt are like the big one. Like Dockside Extortionist is pretty big too. Okay. So like the real big thing about this whole entire ban, right, is that Jeweled Lotus was not like a cheap card previously. Okay. Okay. Like it wasn't like a $10 card beforehand, right? It was like 86 to like $100 or something like that, right? And then it literally shot down to like $50. It's finally starting to like rebound, but you essentially cut the card in half. You know, like the overall price of it. Mana Crypt is $200, and there was a whole set that came out for it. Like, this is the problem with the community not being part of Wizards of the Coast, is that there was a huge Mana Crypt was recently print in a set like for this year with very unique versions of Mana Crypt with the art and everything like that. So banning this card out, some of them were hundreds of dollars, $600. Like the average one, I think, was like $100 to $200, and they just bombed it.
The quick math that we ended up talking about before this too is that they banned out a card that's $200, and then you're taking out like millions of dollars of value essentially, right? Like I think the quick math that we did is that for you to take a $200 card and have $1 million around a value of it, you'd need about 5,000 printed versions. Like that seems like super feasible, that like, you know, this decision impacted the value of over $1 million of players, you know, and like I can understand then why people are upset, but then that's also the nature of these assets. If you're looking at them as collectibles, if you're looking as play tools, etc., maybe you're pissed that you bought it for $200 and now it's only worth $60. You know, that just also seems like the fickleness of maybe the community, and like maybe the current mode we're in with Pokemon cards and One Piece cards and Magic the Gathering, where there's these collectors that are just not really in it. They're just trying to, you know, leverage a deal overall. But I hear you when you're saying, you know, the biggest friction of this is that the committee wasn't consulted on the thing that Magic and Wizards did.
Like, yeah, like the thing that I was like trying to get at, and I guess I'm like, my brain's just not working today, is that like there's a lot of like unknown with this, right? Like I can't trust the committee, to like everybody there, to buy up a bunch of buy up a bunch of cheap Mana Crypts like early on or something like that, or have a bunch of Mana Crypts, sell the things, and then ban the card, because they're just regular players with collections. Josh Lee, like, he's awesome, and I like his YouTube channel. Do it like alone, bro. He's got the. Listen, let me tell you something. His co-host, love that guy, Mr. Jimmy Wong. He's awesome. He's the Drift King, bro. Like, it's just like he's the Drift King, but not really the Drift King. But anyway, but like that's the thing for me, is like I can't trust 4 people that aren't connected to a company. Like the company can have cards, and you can be inside the company and make all sorts of bad faith arguments inside the company, but at least the company's responsible for it, right? But when there's like 5 people, and I'm just saying 5, using it randomly, right? Like 5 people who are making decisions, and they can make a bunch of money and then tank everybody else's value. Like if they know that they're going to ban this card, they sell their 10 of them, and they made $2,000 for Mana Crypt, like when it was $100 to $200. You know what I mean? So like, it's very untrustworthy for people outside the company. Shit.
Yeah, I think that's part of the drama that's happening here, is that, you know, there's at least a narrative that's being pushed. Maybe it's being pushed by Wizards to take the blame off of them. Nobody deserves to feel unsafe for supporting the game they love. Unfortunately, the task of managing Commander has far outgrown the scope and safety of being attached to any 5 people. Generally speaking, saying that they received a lot of backlash, and that's the reason why, or at least one reason why, they're stepping down. So today, in partnership with members of the existing Rules Committee, we are announcing that the Rules Committee is giving management of the Commander format to the game design team of Wizards of the Coast. So like, I feel like that's a narrative that's being pushed here with it. And like, yes, the Magic community is not really well regarded when it comes to their polarity, their sensibility, or their steadfastness. They're very inflammatory at times. And I'm sure I'm going to get some hate mail for this one. You can send it to 23 Main Street. That's my home address of I don't care. But, you know, I think the other thing we need to look at here is that you have a card that was made by Wizards of the Coast. I think Nadu and right, or was it Jeweled Lotus?
They were all made by Wizards of the Coast. Every single card is made and tested by Wizards of the Coast.
You're right. It was made specifically for Commander. Which one was made specifically for Commander in mind?
Here's that's the spoiler, is that all of them were made for Commander.
So
Nadu was made for Commander inside a modern set.
Yeah.
So it was completely out of place. It's just a Commander card that was untested and shipped with a ton of text. So I get why some people might want to ban it, but like, and then the other one was Jewel Lotus, which was made in 2 sets for Commander sets, right?
Well, that's what I'm saying. The two narratives here is like you have the one where it's like the committee's retired and has handed over control because the community has just bullied them essentially into doing it. They're getting inflammatory and they're attacking the safety of these people, either by assault verbally or by, I don't know if it's gone to actual physical battery, but whatever, they feel threatened. So that's the narrative that's being said here. But then the other narrative is you've got Wizards of the Coast who made these cards with Commander in mind, and then however long later they ban those Commander cards and then just go, whoopsies. It's not necessarily something they did on purpose, but it's definitely something that's pissing off the community. And then, like, that's the second narrative, because then you've got the committee getting blamed, whereas everyone's like, oh, that's Wizards, they're just gonna fuck it up anyway. So like, that's the point I want to kind of hit. They made the card for Commander and then literally did a bad job, so they have to remove the card? Question mark? How does that make sense?
None of the Commander bans make sense for the most part. And you know, I touch on this a little bit, right? But like, why do they need bans? Like, that's the part that I just don't understand. Like, I've seen people kicked out of a store for their deck being too powerful. Like, oh, sorry, bud, you can't play with these people. Like, you can't play with the pod that's here as a Commander player because your deck's too powerful, right? So like, it's already self-contained and it's already pretty controlled overall based on power levels and stuff like that, right? The issue, and probably the reason why they do ban, is because the social aspect of the game for Commander is, instead of playing my Mana Crypt on turn 1 to get the most optimal play, I'll wait till turn 5 and then I'll play it and I won't be targeted. Like, eat shit. Just eat shit. It's stupid. So like, don't have it in your deck is the point. Like, if that's the way you're going to play, and that's your thought process, that this card is too powerful to be played on the turn that I could play it because it would give me a nice advantage, and it's too mean to the other players, don't play it. Play worse decks. It's fine.
To that point, I think the reason why you ban cards is because of behavioral friction, if not like mechanical friction. And that's like in a vacuum. So then when you get to like a Commander, here's an interesting question. Does Commander hold tournaments, like official tournaments at the top level, or is it local gaming store tournaments?
Yes, this is what I'm saying. No, they do have, there's called CEDH. Okay? Competitive Commander. Okay? It's just vintage. Like, it's this, like, they should not be made. The banned and restricted list for Commander should not be for people at tournament and the other people, because they're not banning the broke shit that happens in the tournament, because most people who play really broken decks have like 8 infinite combos in their deck, and they're like, hey, at any moment I could just win the game with a Dark Consultation and a Thassa's Oracle. Haha, I won. 2-card combo, bro. Like, that's how these kids play at the top level, bro. They want to win. They want to gape you, homie. Like, that's the way that it works. They bought these cards, they go and gape you with them. And so that's where the ban list really matters. But in that sense, everything's broken. And it's like, and you can just play with these cards in like vintage, but
I'm just confused. If I could jump in too, like, first off, I had no idea what you just said about what this and that, but I'll leave it there. But then second too, it's like, why is there then 2 different versions of Commander? Like the competitive version.
They're the same.
There's the same version, but then the tournament is like just a more serious, like
the banned restricted list like exists, right? The problem is that most people who exist don't play the highest power level deck, which includes like a lot of the stuff that's really broken in vintage and a lot of the new things now that come out in all the Commander sets, right?
So then the thing we're getting to, sorry to jump in again on you. The thing we're getting to then is that then the community behavior is a friction with Wizards, because Wizards, they feel that Wizards is dictating how they should play their game at a local level, a mid-level at best, though Wizards' intent, in all fairness, let's give the benefit of the doubt, Wizards' intent is to control and dictate the play at the highest tournament levels. Is that a safe assumption or assertion here? Because like, I think you're right. You know, not everybody should play at the highest level. Not everybody is going to play at the highest level. And you shouldn't think, you know, you're going to be that billionaire. So don't make rules against the billionaires because I might be a billionaire one day kind of mentality. Like, that's what this feels to me. Am I off? Am I cooking? Like, do you have any?
Like there's something there's something to be said there. Like, essentially, Commander is for everybody who wants to use the cards that they have, man. Like, that's kind of how this works. It's a casual form. It's supposed to be a casual format, as I said, but these reactions are not casual. You are not casual. You could just say, so what? I'm playing with Mana Crypt anyway. That's my house rule. That's my rule 0 at this place.
Dude,
there's literally LGSs. Yeah, there's literally LGSs that just go like, you know what? For these modern tournaments, we're not Nadu's banned. We don't care if it's unbanned as far as Wizards of the Coast is concerned. No Nadu at these tournaments for these LGSs. So like, you can do all this stuff. It's already pretty good. And again, like if you're playing at the top level, right? Your deck is busted. They're like, if you watch Post Malone play Commander, bro, like just get off of it. Like, I don't even know what the hell. Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, I know so much about this fucking stupid format. Gets me so heated sometimes. It's not casual. Like, this is not a casual response. These aren't casual bans, right? It doesn't affect most players. Most players don't have Mana Crypts unless they pulled it from a pack. You know? Like, right. It's a $200 card. The average person isn't going to be like, you know what? I'm spending $200 today on this Magic card so I can play it on turn 5 instead of turn 0. That's right. That's what I said. I'm paying $200 so I could wait. Like, absolute nonsense. Just garbage. Anyway, there's enough of that. But I am glad that that Wizards of the Coast, right? The shills on the coast over here. I am a little bit happier with them getting that back, because at least, like, not back, but like, you know, getting it. At least maybe we could actually start talking about how, like, maybe Commander just needs to be broken up into multiple different formats so that you don't have these issues like every other format is, you know, where it restricts on how far you can go back with the cards in order to put them in your deck and stuff like that, you know, and then you can play the reprints when they come out. Like,
dude, that's a fair assessment. That's a fair thought process. And like, I do want to add that it does seem to be a community behavioral thing. People are frustrated. They're mad. They might be mad because they might have actually spent that money on that thing so that they could be like the you know, the biggest fish in their pond, or try to feel like they're competing with.
Check the numbers. Check the numbers though.
Either way, regardless of whatever the situation is, of course, you can't be treating people like this. You know, be mad at Wizards. Absolutely. You know, but like, there's still, if you don't like it, stop playing it, right? Like,
I mean, yeah.
There's a point of the game we talk about with Apex Legends on the Battle Pass. We've talked about all these different esports, etc. Is there a point? Pokemon Go. There's a big movement. If you're not having fun, take a break. Stop playing it. You don't need to play it, and it might be a different version than what you expect it to be or what you want it to be. But if that's happening, take a breath. Treat each other nicer with it, especially the community. We shouldn't be D-bags to each other when it comes to these things. There's a competitive aspect to it. We want to win. We want to fight. We want to play. But in the same way, we're all here because we love the game. And like, that's my takeaway also for it. I agree with what you're saying. Maybe look at splitting up the format to operate differently in different modes, but it is what it is. Hopefully we see the drama recede here. As we wrap up this segment, Nick, we are looking at Wizards now taking control of Commander in a more definitive way. They've always technically had it, but they had the advisory board. How is the lack of advisory board going to impact this now?
I'm not sure. Like, I think you'll probably see a couple of things like unbanned. Like, they already said that they're not going to ban anything like right off the top and off the jump. They're probably going to reevaluate some of the things that are on like the ban list. You know, some of them like aren't going to be like great, right? But how do I put this? Yeah. You guys play an expensive hobby. I play Legacy, and at one point, my Ragavans were worth $100. Okay? Today, they're worth $31 because they have been banned out of Legacy. Okay? Like, so
yeah.
I lost money, but like understand that you play luxury cardboard game. You don't play like Pokemon. Okay, you play a luxury fucking card game. Like it's a big difference. Before you started playing, the Power 9 existed, and it was too expensive for you. Like,
Yeah.
And those are played cards. This isn't like, oh, that one Charizard that's graded 10 in the case that no one touches because it's trash anyway. Like, and you have to discard all of your energy in order to do 120 damage. No one's playing that card. It sucks. It sucks cheese compared to the cards that are out now. And it's worth money because of its history. It's not being played. Magic has always been a luxury card game, man. Like always.
I remember when I was in like 5th grade, might have been 10 years old, and I first got my hands on Magic the Gathering and learning what it is. I remember hearing about Lotus and like just it was worth a crazy amount of money and it was super rare. Magic has always been that kind of game. Absolutely. Pokemon, I would argue too, there's a luxury aspect to it, especially the collectors, full art, hollow, shiny, radiant, whatever kind of rarity of the things. When you have this mentality, so absolutely agree with you, but in that same way, look at it as if you are going to look at it as an investment, treat it like an investment. Don't look at your stocks day to day. Look at the investment over 10 years, because Magic's been around 30 plus years. Pokemon's been around for 20 plus years. Like, look at it over time, because right now this is happening and it feels bad, man. But
the prices are bouncing back. The prices are bouncing back for these cards. They probably won't get to the same extent, right?
Sure.
Unless they get like unbanned or something like that. But like, I just want to throw this out here real quick, right? There's 50 million people who play Magic the Gathering across the planet. Okay. If we say half of these people play Commander, right? How many of the 25 million people have Mana Crypts? Like,
how many Mana Crypts
don't kid me.
out there?
Don't even kid me right now. Like, Clown Fiesta. Like, it's Clown Fiesta type stuff. Like, this doesn't even affect, this maybe affects 5 million people. It might affect 10% of the population. Like, but anyway, it affected me. I had Mana Crypts. Like, I lost money, but I was like, damn. Just throw it in the Ragavan pile. That's what I get for playing this game. Like,
and at that point,
I can't even use it in Legacy.
Collector's item.
Yeah. Also, if you are a person who owns expensive Commander cards, Magic the Gathering cards, and you play Commander, like, there's a couple ways to play. You can play Canadian Highlander. Like, a lot of people in America kind of hate it, but like, whatever. It's pretty cool for like a Commander game. Or just play Vintage, or go to competitive Commander tournaments for $25,000 as a first place prize. Like,
but Daddy, I want to play the Magic the Gathering the way I think it should be played, and
no
other way.
You want a pub stomp. Like, I don't see people who want to have fun. I see people who want a pub stomp, and the pub stompers complain about the things that they can't do anymore because they can't just pub stomp real quick. They got to find a new way. But anyway,
let
me get it. I'm gonna get rage. I apologize, Commander community. Don't come at me.
Love the game. Hope you guys find some solace, some peace with it. Have you been caught up in the drama? Do you feel like it's been kind of a bad moment for Magic the Gathering or Wizards of the Coast or Commander specifically? Let us know. Hit us up at the Esports Meta on all the social media, or drop a comment or a like or whatever here. Thanks for watching and sticking with us. We've got a couple more subjects to get to, and we're going to pivot right into that. Next up, we're talking about Overwatch Championship Series. Stage 4 has been in effect. We're 2 or 3 weeks in. We're down to the last weekend for the finals. We're going to run down exactly what to expect here in the finals, what teams need to win, what points need to happen, because this is the big one. Not necessarily by prize pool, which we've talked about before, but this tournament is going to define who's going to Stockholm, the biggest tournament of the year, or who goes home and just sits on the couch and watches it from their laptop. All right. So with that being said, let's move into it. Overwatch Championship Series. We've had the Swiss round go. We had the cut for the Swiss happen. Group stages were through, and that's where we just wrapped up. Now we're on to the main event. This coming weekend, the 10th through the 13th, we'll be watching Overwatch Championship Series in NA and EMEA compete against each other to get those final points to make it to Stockholm for DreamHack. The main event here is a double elimination bracket, so winner's bracket, loser's bracket. All matches are going to be first to 3, except for the grand finals, which is going to be first to 4. So you're talking what? First to 3 is best of 5, and then first to 4 is best of 7 matches. Okay. Now we're going to run down to the teams. Let's move it over into the one thing I got to say. What was it? Are they doing the new? I don't think they're doing the new. Okay, yeah, sorry. With this stage, we've had 2 big changes: the map pool and the game modes, as well as Juno being added. Juno is the new support character, has speed ring. If you are part of the Overwatch community, you've probably already seen what she does, but she has effectively replaced Lucio in a lot of comps because of her kit. She throws out a hyper ring that you pass through it. It speeds people up, just like Lucio's speed boost cannon does. She has a auto lock on secondary fire that will lock onto enemies and friendlies to heal friendlies and damage enemies. They need to be in sight. You can dodge it. You can LOS it after it's been sent out. And then third, she has a hit scan pistol that has fall off, which is one of the first new mechanics. She's been a huge change to the game through competitive, and now we're seeing it now represented in the professional level in this tournament. So that's first and foremost. Juno has been a huge difference in the composition and the meta aspect. But second, the new game mode Clash has been introduced with Hanaoka and Throne of Anubis getting played for the first time in this level of competition. So big things already sort of being stated and put out. Next up with the prize pool, $75,000 is the total prize pool for this stage. We've talked about this, Nick. It's been disappointing. Blizzard needs to do better. My only benefit of the doubt was this was the first year, but I still feel like it's weak. They need to do better next year. Absolutely. I would like to see this maybe first place $50,000, maybe $75,000. Because you have to win all 4 stages to get 120K. And there's only like 1 or 2 other tournaments outside of this on the Overwatch scene at that high level. So organizations will not keep up with this amount of money. I know that's what we discussed. Nick, what would you like to see the prize pool get adjusted to? Regardless of the history and why it sucks right now, what would be a bandwidth that's, okay, this is solid?
For each one of for each part.
Give me like first place. What's a solid prize, for first place?
For first place, probably $50,000 to $75,000 would be like nicer for like these three parts just in general. $100,000 would also be pretty nice too. Like I think they make more than enough money in this game, and like I don't know. I'm harsh on these guys for not trying to keep their communities up
right.
But yeah, like 100,000 would be nice.
We haven't gotten to talk about it, but like recently that book came out talking about a lot of the dirty laundry behind the scenes of Blizzard over the last 20 plus years. And that might be a big thing to play into it. This was probably a decision that was made before Microsoft gained control. Who's to say Microsoft will do any better? But I don't disagree with you. Maybe seeing overall
125. That's my real number. 125. I think first place should get 125. If you win all 4, you should get $500,000. Like if you literally won the year, you should be able to make $500,000. It is insane to think that these teams and these companies make less than $1 million with it, for a team based on a game that makes too much money.
Yeah, this is a popular game. It's not Age of Empires 1 from, which is still popular, but like a $10,000 prize pool for a 30-year-old game, solid. But this is a game that's 8-9 years old now, and it's still got crazy viewership. Not the best viewership, but still really good. A big community behind it. There should be the prize support, and if they don't feel like it's worth it, Blizzard needs to make it worth it. Use it as a marketing tool, etc. But there's a whole conversation we can go into. This prize pool is $75,000. First place is going to get $30,000, and that's kind of what we're looking for. Let's take a look at the teams that are participating for this. The NA teams. We've got Toronto Defiant, Energy Shock, Nightmare, Citrus Nation, TSM, O3 Splash, Fluffy Dreamland, Chikagami, Tanuki Tapire, EXN Zenith, Ramacha Punch, Absolution, Team Z, Rad X Avidity, Blast Off Buds, BOB, YFP Gaming, and I believe that's it. This was, I think, from across the board in groups, everybody who was competing. Groups panned out this final weekend. So we have who's going to be in the last bracket, who's going to be making the push to the main stage here for the main event. Toronto Defiant, no surprises, +4 in the map differential and the 2-0 record. But Group A also has Shikigami, which I guess you'd kind of expect, but I was kind of believing in YFP Gaming. I think they have some potential, and they're making stuff happen. Group B, Fluffy Aimers and Energy Shock. Fluffy Aimers going 2-0, a relatively unknown game. Let's take a look at the roster really quick here. WSPS, Haven, Chime, Ryan, Astronex, Grapes, Renko, Divinity. I don't really see a lot of names, any names that I'm familiar with. I'm not super familiar. Maybe these guys were contenders players, but no Overwatch League, no names from Legacy. They could just be this out of nowhere sort of team able to take Group B, basically. 2-0 record over Energy Shock, who has proven themselves as being pretty solid. I think they hit 3rd place in the last tournament. They're 2-1 in this one and a +4 differential map kind of situation. And like, props to both of those teams for making it out of Group B. Group C, Nightmare. This is one that showed some spark, some flavor in the last one, but couldn't quite close it in the tournament. But they're taking Group C #1 spot, 2-0. Rad X Avidity taking it against Ramacha Punch. I saw this game, and this was a very Orisa heavy match. Orisa, then Juno, Brig as generalized support and comps here. Ramacha Punch not being able to really pull it out at the last second. I think it was on Shambhala Monastery, but Rad X Avidity winning that match, getting into the main stage event here. Group D, Citrus Nation and TSM. Both teams, both names we were familiar with, making it into the final brackets, knocking out Team Z and Absolution here. Nick, out of these group stages, the teams that have made it and haven't made it, any sort of takeaways on just the score lines, the stat lines, or just the teams you're seeing and not seeing?
Yo, good for TSM.
Right? They're
good for
back.
TSM. I thought you were gonna. Here I was thinking you were gonna interrupt me continuing. But no, Energy Shock was is like, it's always good to see them up there. And look at Defiant, just like attaboy, continue doing what you're doing.
They gotta make that prize money to finish out the salary cap this year.
Seriously, absolutely seriously.
My big surprise here is, of course, I said it was Fluffy Aimers. They beat Energy Shock, formerly students of the game. Blast Off Bubs and EXN Zenith didn't seem to make it. I didn't really seem to have the gusto to push through. So like, Fluffy Aimers 2-0, and congrats to them. But you're right, at TSM, I was gonna finish saying, but I wanted to hold off. Great to see they struggled earlier this year. They had some promise and were making some waves, but then roster changes. So now being able to bounce back, solid roster, solidify the roster in a way where they could compete to maybe get to DreamHack here. We'll take a look and see how it goes. Here are your brackets and what to expect, and we'll go over who needs to win in just a moment. But Toronto Defiant will be going against Energy Shock off the bat. This was a match we saw in the last stage 3 finals, and Energy Shock didn't quite have the meta, but they definitely were flexing and were putting pressure onto Toronto Defiant. Toronto Defiant got knocked into the lower bracket, and they came back to then win it all. But they had to get mad. They had to put the fire in that belly. So that's the first match we're going to be seeing this coming weekend. Citrus Nation going against Rad Avidity, Fluffy Aimers against Shikigami, and Nightmare versus TSM. Nightmare and TSM might be the sleeper sort of match that's like super exciting to watch. I think the other ones are going to be a little bit in between on that. Nick, with the matchups we have on hand here, what are you seeing? What are your thoughts here?
Let's see. Let me get low. Side right here. That's gonna be a real good game, dude. Shock versus Defiant is gonna be super good. That's probably gonna be a really solid match.
Man.
Thanks for taking that away from me.
I apologize. I wanted to bring up points in a second, but I didn't have the tab up. So Shock versus Defiant. Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's going to be like, yeah, go ahead.
So I was going to ask, how do you feel about this matchup with the meta playing out? Currently, the meta is looking like Juno is the anchor point staple. Brig is the support that pairs best with her and is able to like sustain the team. Orisa is having some really interesting, cool moments because Juno is enabling her to fling herself and drop her ult, her big suck-in ult. Basically, Juno drops the hyper ring. Orisa runs, pops the ult mid-jump, so you fly a little bit further than you'd expect, and like it grabs people so that you can follow up with a Genji ult, a Reaper ult, or just try to kill them off with, you know, the other champions, heroes you're already playing there. With that sort of meta in mind, how do you think Toronto Defiant, who's been a very flexible team, only runs 5 people, a lot stronger in the Tracer or Echo meta perhaps, have shown some flash of hit scan prominence and dominance. How do you think they're going to do against NRG Shock, who's shown that their understanding of metas and evolving metas has really strengthened here?
I mean, I think like Defiant has the has an edge in the long term, right? Like they're literally a team that meshes extremely well. And because of that, it doesn't really matter where the meta goes. They're usually going to be at the top of it eventually. So basically, like NRG can work out the whole entire booklet, and then they're just going to read it. so like that basically, like I think that like it doesn't really matter who's going to come up with it. Like I just think that they execute on a regular basis. You know, like every time that you watch their games, they execute their plans. And you know, sometimes they falter. And sometimes they don't have a good read, but they literally execute. And there's only 5 people, dude. It's like they're watching each other's screens sometimes.
Yeah, they're screen watching, man. I can't be screen sharing there.
No, dude, like you ever see people who do that? Yeah. Like I used to play, you know, when we used to play like split screen shooters and everything like that. If I play with my one buddy who I played for years split screen, like Halo, literally online, we do everything without speaking now. Like it doesn't matter what game that we play, we're still like we're just doing everything without speaking because of how much we've played together. And that's the way that I feel about like Toronto. Like they're just kind of like they're in each other's heads and they mesh really, really well together.
You and your bud have mind melded, and you're saying that Toronto the 5 members have mind melded. They're at the top of their game. They've really proven themselves, especially with Esports World Cup. They are in a good position moving on. This is going to be a very exciting game. It's starting on the 10th, only a day or two away from us filming and shooting right now. Definitely one of the games we're going to be taking a look at, watching out for. Nightmare versus TSM, I think, is the other one, also happening on the 10th of October. If you could predict the bracket here real quick before we go into the points of who needs to win, does Toronto Defiant take this uncontested, or do we see some hiccups on this? Because Toronto Defiant is already sitting pretty with points. This is a must-win situation for some other teams. What do you think is happening?
Is this this is best of 3s, right?
Yes, best of 3s until the grand finals is best of 4, or best of 5, first of 3, best of
2-1 NRG Shock. NRG Shock is going to beat Toronto Defiant.
Okay, interesting.
That's my thought, because I think literally going in. So like I think Toronto Defiant can literally go into this not caring. Like they're going to play and they're going to do everything right, but if they lose this game, they are going to go on a tear on the lower bracket. They've done it before. Yeah. They're like, so.
But never right off the bat. Never really immediately out of the gate from the upper bracket into the lower bracket. Usually it's a little bit further down. But either way,
yeah, usually
like they'll get to the lower bracket and they're just going to tear through some of the weaker teams that were knocked down there immediately.
Yeah, they usually only get knocked down after another team that's pretty good wins against someone else, right? So like right now they're playing against NRG Shock. Like, guess what? I think you're going to lose 2-1. Like, yeah. And then I think they're going to go. I think it's going to be a repeat towards the end of Toronto Defiant going all the way, NRG Shock going all the way.
Okay.
I think.
Do you think Nightmare TSM are going to have a shot because TSM showing some life here. Nightmare has had this lock on the meta. They started playing better, but they still keep making some key mistakes that are just not allowing them to win. Do you think Nightmare or TSM step up here so that they can take a first, second, or third place position?
No, I think I think they're doing well, and I think they're gonna do fine. For like the most part, they're gonna continue gaining experience and moving on, and getting better, right? But I don't think that they're gonna be able to step up. I think it's gonna be a Nightmare's job to like basically step down and like hand it to him. Like I think that like the level of disrespect and not like will probably be there, and that would be like the way that they like where they underestimate their opponents. And literally TSM can actually win. But you know, who knows?
Yeah, we'll be watching.
I'm not good at this.
Overwatch is definitely more of my game, my expertise in play, but you know, you are making some really great points and things to look out for. We'll definitely take a look at that. Let's take a look at the points here. Who's basically needs to win, where we're at here. Toronto Defiant's been top of the NA leaderboard this entire season. They've been number 1 in NA, and it hasn't been contested. The only point where their skill level has been questioned has literally been at international play, the DreamHack EWC. And at EWC, they still came out in second place. They were still making moves, making plays. But in NA, as far as concerned, they are the top dogs. So they're pretty much in, no questions asked. Energy Shock has 1,000 points, 1055. They kind of need it here. They're currently running 225 for stage 4. It's going to put them in a really good position. But, you know, Nightmare seems to want it maybe a little bit more, maybe need it a little bit more. TSM seems to need it a little bit more. So, you know, these are the teams that, you know, they're competing against Toronto Defiant essentially, but they're competing for their spot for Worlds and just to kind of get in, to get that prize money, even if they place last over there in Stockholm and DreamHack. You know, Fluffy Aimers though, a little bit of a dark horse. They've got 425 total points for the season. Right now, they've got 225 for stage 4. They got 200 from stage 3. There's a world where they might be able to bump up if TSM shits the bed and just gets knocked out. But, you know, really, this is a do or die moment for Nightmare, TSM, Shikigami, and Fluffy Aimers. They can get caught up. They can take a high position here, get a decent amount of points. I think 500's first place, 400's second place. 400 points to Fluffy Aimers knocks TSM down or Citrus Nightmare down. You know, so like that could be the difference of everything. So high stakes moment here. This is the wrap up of the regular season for OWCS. And Nick, are you thinking or seeing anything here, or, you know, pretty much same thing I'm seeing?
So basically, I mean, I think like we might have like a telltale sign of like Fluffy Aimers are literally on the upswing, right? Right. And they're probably feeling a little bit better than Shikigami. Like I think that for some reason this Excel spreadsheet is making me feel like Fluffy Aimers is going to take out Shikigami pretty easily in a you know, in a 2-0 fashion probably or something, or 3-0, whatever it's going to be.
Right. The matchup is going to be Fluffy Aimers over Shikigami. So like this is going to directly impact points potentially. You're going to have an easier shot whoever wins that. Fluffy Aimers coming in 2-0 versus Shikigami's 2-1 off of the group stages. So Shikigami is sitting a little bit higher in points for the season, but it's either of those. I think you might be right.
And then, I mean, like if Citrus Nightmare doesn't actually like win, like
that's the thing with this. Citrus Nightmare is not even in. We have a couple notable teams that aren't in this.
Oh, it's Citrus Nation. My bad.
It's
That's
Citrus
what I meant.
Nation, yeah. But Citrus Nightmare is sitting in 5th place with the points. We also don't see M80. I don't know if they competed this stage or just haven't, but they're not even on the leaderboard, so maybe they're not bothering. Citrus Nation is down and tied for 10th place with Rad X Avinity. Both could be making moves, but like really their own. Well, Rad X Avinity's points are only from stage 4. Citrus Nation had gotten some decent points in stage 2, so both can make some playoff swings here, playoff pushes. But I just want to scroll down and see if we can find, man. M80's down in 26th place. Pirates and Pajama, 26th place. You know, we did see students of the game earlier. They turned into energy. Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe these orgs just bowed out because there wasn't enough money in it. Maybe. Maybe. Who knows?
I think you're on to something there. I think you're not off, and like it's just not feasible to be sustained for the whole season when, you know, first place is the only one making anything, and it's not even making that much. Anyway, those are the games we're going to be looking forward to. Those are the teams that have to win to get in for DreamHack in Stockholm. We'll be keeping in touch with it. We'll be watching those games. Watch along with us at the Esports Meta on social media, or just check us out next week when we do these podcasts live on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll have all the updates and information for you across the board there. And let us know what you're rooting for, what you see, and where you're gaming. You know, what do you think? We're gamers just like you, and we want to be playing these games with you. So let us know. But finally, we're coming to the close of our episode. We've got one more topic to cover, and that's League of Legends. We're gonna be going over some scores from this past weekend. I got a little ahead of myself there. My lips move faster than my words. But we've got pick'ems and scores happening right now. And, you know, Nick, you got to watch a few more of these games than I did, I believe. How do you feel about this past weekend of competition for the Worlds?
It's been pretty awesome, honestly. Like after playing stages, I was pretty worried that there was going to be a lot of lane swap. Excuse me. I thought there was going to be. I was really worried that there was going to be a lot of like lane swapping from top and bot and stuff like that. While there was still lane swapping and stuff like that, it wasn't. I don't want to say it wasn't as boring or egregious as it felt at EWC for the most part. There's new tactics and stuff that like new strategies that teams have developed to counteract the lane swap and stuff like that. So, you know, it involves like TPing, having your support go solo in the bot lane while your ADC and your top laner are up top, or your support is mid while something like there's a lot of different routes that have been happening. So there's a lot of different changes.
Interesting.
And so like, right. That's like really how it's been like a lot of fun. But look at this, bro. There's been so many games. Like it's been so many games since last week.
It's nuts to look at this. You know, we started off looking at it last week with some of the 1-0 games of the first bracket here, October 3rd. But like, man, how's that strategy been paying out? Has it been like a G2 top of the, you know, teams, you know, Gen G, who you think is like the best in the world currently looking and positioning themselves to be in this Swiss stage? Has it been those top teams doing those strategies, or is it the bottom teams trying to like just show that, hey, we deserve to be there. Hey, we've got what it takes to win?
Some of the teams did like Mad Lions did have a situation, and I can't recall if it was at the beginning of like this or if it was in the playing stages, but they basically did adopt some strategies from like the LCK and the LPL, you know, which were notable, and they were able to showcase them, which is kind of like, you know, saying like, hey, we deserve to be here, that sort of thing. But you know, it looks pretty much like what I was saying when we were going over the pick'ems, like for the most part.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a look at the 2-0 bracket and the 0-2 all the way down to the 0-2. Gen G 2-1 in the 2-0 bracket, taking over Hanwha. So Hanwha was 2-0, which is cool to see. Beating G2
Hanwha is the number 1 seed, bro.
Yeah, dude. I didn't necessarily feel like they were going to be able to like take it to G2 and Gen G immediately. They put up 1 win in the match round against Gen G. That's super solid, dude.
G2 is playing better than I expected. Full honesty on that one. Humble Life and Gen G, you know, there's some downs, but mostly it's ups. You know what I mean? Not too far off from where you would expect them to be. Same thing with LNG. Like as I said, like T1, I like, you know, it's like let's hope. Is what I said. Like let's hope they perform and everything like that. They weren't like my favorites for the tournament or anything like that. But my heroes over there, look at GAM Esports about to take out North America. Like they meant to take out North America. I told you, dude. Like that was like so like Weibo Gaming was like the big one. If you look back, I think it was G2 who beat Weibo Gaming.
Yes.
Right?
You can see
like so Weibo Gaming
here,
is
G2
like
1-0'd. Yeah, G2 1-0'd Weibo.
That one was a surprise. Like I didn't expect that. I like Weibo Gaming is like really good. G2 was able to show off. You know, and usually these ones were just best of ones.
Yes.
Right? Except for the ones up top when they were like 2-2, when they were 2-2, there was best of threes. And stuff like that.
Yeah.
Esports, I believe.
Yeah, the format for this has been a little bit confusing, the Swiss stages on this, but generally speaking, we're looking at the overall records of this, and like if you get to 3 losses, you're out. Essentially, you get to three
unique losses.
Yes, 3.
That's the stipulation. Losses. I mean, but granted, you're only gonna play it. Yep.
And like Team Liquid was in that 0-2 range, and they ended up beating Pain Gaming. So Pain Gaming seems to be knocked out. GAM Esports was in that 0-2 range. They beat Mad Lions, even though Mad Lions was able to put some interesting spin on stuff, like you said.
Yeah, no, that was overall it wasn't bad, these games. But they have such a long way to go to really like contend with Hanwha Life and Gen G for the most part. Even like T1's doing great for like what they're capable of right now.
Yeah.
I don't want to seem like, like I know everything or I'm like I'm being mean, like Faker's so crap. Like no, Faker literally almost got knocked out of this tournament and he was like, hold my beer. I'm not even joking. Like, I didn't even get to send you this, but like there was literally a situation where he was like playing Nico and like they're about to like lose the game. And then Nico basically, oh my God, hold on. Let me see if I can find this real quick.
Okay. So as you find that clip real quick, I'm just going to go over what to expect in the upcoming games on the 10th and the 11th. We're at a 2-1 bracket right now. Top Esports versus D+ Kia. They're facing off on the 10th and the 11th. G2 Esports going against T1. So this is a decent bracket. Everyone's in a good position. They win and they're in. They lose, they still have a chance to fight to stay in. And then the third game in this 2-1 record bracket is Hanwha Life and FlyQuest. FlyQuest showing up. NA kind of still in the house here. Hasn't totally shit the bed, but then going into other NA teams, we're down to the 1 and 2 bracket. Team Liquid Honda going against GAM Esports. Lose and you are out. Win, you get to fight again to try to win. Then Fnatic, also in that 1-2 stage against Weibo Gaming. Lose and you're out. Win and you get to fight some more. Billy and PSG are the final teams in that 1-2 bracket. They're going to be playing on October 11th or 12th, depending the day. So you've got a lot of interesting moments and a lot of do or die, especially with some top teams here. Win and you're in.
Yeah. No, it's like these have been really, really good. Like for the most part, this whole entire situation has been like absolutely phenomenal. And let me get back to our thing right here. This is going to be really, really cool. These next couple like games, I do feel like so G2 versus T1 is going to be like a good game. Like, let's go FlyQuest. Like, I really hope you guys make it, dude. But it is the cruelest tale to get Hanwha Life to be like you still have one more shot, right? Like they go to 2-2 if they do lose. But like Hanwha Life is winning this game. Like unless like FlyQuest like really shows up, like it's not even like a joke or anything like that. I'm not trying to be mean. But T1 versus G2 is going to be great. And then D+ Kia versus Top Esports. Like Top Esports should win. D+ has been showing like some stuff. Like they definitely have the ability to do some things for sure.
Yeah.
But whether or not they're going to be able to like pull it off versus Top Esports is like a different story. Like the way the Asian teams play for the most part is they really capitalize on like a lot of mistakes, and they try to make as few mistakes as possible. But like Chinese teams will like they kind of run it down, but like don't run it down at the same time. Like it's crazy because they will all pile in, all die, and then repeat just to get the same like a different score at the end of it. Like they'll all die, they'll come back, and then they'll just go like, nope, we're doing it this time. and they'll
pressure
chase down a
strategy.
kill.
Nice. A pressure
So-
strategy based on not making mistakes themselves, waiting to capitalize on others' mistakes.
No, I mean some of the Chinese teams make more mistakes than not more mistakes than like North America or Europe.
I hear you.
But that it could be due to like many different things just in general. But they're able to capitalize on mistakes, but they also make mistakes themselves. It's like the easiest way to like say it. It's not as egregious. But so top esports should win right there.
All
and
right,
then
so really quick, of these, what is it, 6 games are happening coming up? Yeah, we've got 6 games happening this coming weekend, a little bit more based on the who loses, etc. Who loses and wins. But out of these 6 games we currently have on board, which ones should we look out for? Like, which ones are going to be the ones you're going to tune into? Like, oh, this is going to be interesting to see. Most interesting to see.
The G2 versus T1. Out of like this one, out of the 2 ones, I think G2 and T1 is going to be the best one to like watch. They both have performed a little bit higher than they should have in certain situations. Like T1 versus Billy Gaming, like they did some like nice stuff. I can't find the clip right now, but like essentially, like
that was where you said Faker said "hold my beer" and then won the game. Deadlift.
Yeah, he's like not like it's been like I can't find the actual clip. It's not from like the last couple days or anything like that. But it's been in this world things where basically like he has been stepping up where he needs to, and that's what I mean. That's the same thing for like G2. They both have been like stepping up. In general. So that's where I would watch it. The Hanwha Life FlyQuest game is going to be like it. I hope it's not a pub stomp, but it feels like it's going to be a pub stomp. Same thing with the top esports one. I don't think D plus Kia is going to be able to like handle it.
Out of the bottom bracket, the 1 and 2 records currently, which ones? Should we be watching any of these games? You feel like it's going to be like a, lower
Dark Horse Fnatic?
Fnatic, okay.
No, just out of nowhere. Like this isn't based on anything. This is gut feeling on nonsense. Not even hoping that they make it because I've already talked enough crap about Fnatic for no reason. But like I've said it before, like in Worlds, they just end up like sometimes they just end up being a dark horse out of nowhere. Like and they'll just go a little bit farther than they should. And I think they're gonna beat Limbo Gaming. Like, and that would be crazy.
Yeah. These games are looking really interesting. Those are the ones I think are great to follow up on as well. I don't disagree. I'm going to be checking these out. I'm not a huge League of Legends player, if at all, but like, this is where, the rubber hits the road for this tournament. You're going to see these teams and players fight to stay in, fight for their spot. Currently, Gen G and LNG are the 2 teams that have advanced with 3-0 records. They're already in. Now we get to see everybody else fight for the last 5 spots. Is that 5? No, 6 spots. 3 through 8. Right? I can count. And it's going to be a lot of fun to do. And hopefully you did some pick'ems and you were predicting pretty well, as Nick and I are predicting these matches, which are going to be good, which are going to bottom out, which teams are going to have the medal to really make it here. But I want to take a look at my pick'ems right now because, I just want to. Let's see how I'm doing. To wrap up this episode, we are on the Swiss picks currently. One team to finish undefeated. Hey, got that, plus 20 points. Let me see how I'm doing the leaderboard. Still hasn't caught up, I guess. I'm still top 5% S tier. Thank you very much. There's been 16,000 perfect picks so far. I'm not entirely sure if this is overall updated because this looked very similar to what we saw last week, but hey, I'm not going to complain. I'm still doing pretty solid.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at the other 8. Well, how am I looking at the other 8 teams to advance? HLE, pretty solid. Billy Gaming, not so good. Want way?
No, they'll be fine.
Weibo
Gaming. This is what I was saying.
Looking Weibo? Solid. T1, a good position. Team Liquid was that reach pick, wishing and hoping for NA. I probably should have picked FlyQuest, but this one isn't looking great. They still have a chance here. They just got to win 2 games in a row. I believe. Fnatic, also that dark horse, about to turn the magic on. Hope and G2 as my teams here. Nick, how are you doing on your pick'ems? Are you in a similar position as far as top 30, top 5% with 30 points, or are you looking better or worse than me? Can I rub your nose into I'm better at League than you?
No, I pretty much have like the same, like everything that you pick. Like there's some like small discrepancies, but basically if I said it on the stream, that's what I picked.
And I didn't just
some of these were
your
pretty.
picks.
No, I know. That's why I said there's like some but like this
Okay.
list of the 8 guys, the 8 teams, like it's unfortunate that the randomizer kind of like dealt some bad hands to us throughout the
Right.
thing, right? But like tell you right now, like Gen
But
G.
you know what? That's a skill issue. You should have just won. Plain and simple. You go up against a better
agree.
team, just be the better team. Forehead, come on, just win.
I agree. Just get shit on, fools.
You gotta gap them. How are you doing on your crystal ball picks, Nick?
Like I don't remember the exact percent. I think I'm doing pretty bad because I ended up like doing some wacky, like I did pick Cloud and stuff like that. But I haven't really checked like where the actual matches are, like the actual
Yeah,
excuse me.
we can take a look
let
at
me
that
see.
spreadsheet as well and see if we're having any
Oh,
sort
dude,
of,
it's so convoluted now.
success rate. That's why I was afraid of putting it on screen, because it just might be like an Excel vomit.
The highest game. So like right now, like the game with there's been like what, 1 Baron steal overall. Cloud Drake is still 3rd, but it's not Chem Drake tying it anymore. Mountain Drake beats it by like 6, and then Infernal Drake actually is number 1. And then like the longest game is like 45 minutes right now, so it's not too far off from like being the 50-minute mark as we get like deeper into the thing. I haven't seen a pentakill, but like, I could have been wrong if I missed it, like, because I've watched so many of them.
Yeah, and this was something we were discussing of like, what's the likelihood of them happening in the early games versus the mid games here, which is, I guess, is kind of based on the roulette of like how you match up to. If you have a Gen G going against one of the PCS, let's say Gen G, one of the top teams goes against one of the bottom teams, that's where you're more likely going to see a pentakill, of course. Is that going to happen? How many times did those teams match up? Did they not? Will we see it later on? That was a lot of this speculation going into, like, you have to play the game within the game here. And I've been having a lot of fun with it, and we're still holding on to some hope here. Doing pretty solid, not too far off, like you said.
Yeah. Not too far. Like, listen, what do we got the next ones? We're like Champions was the next one, right? What was the next
the next group
things
of
you want
things
to
is
check
how
out real
many-
quick?
Which champion played the most different roles? Which champion was picked the most? Which champion was banned the most? We're only halfway technically through this tournament, so there's a lot more games happening. So
Poppy staying strong.
Poppy's still strong as most played.
No, just like different roles.
Okay, different roles.
Yeah, like Yon will probably end up being up there too. Eventually, he's starting to get like picked a lot more now. Like he's second most picked now that we've gotten into like the play stages.
All right, big comebacks happening. How about Ari as far as most picked? Is Ari number 1, or is it? Sorry, I think you muted yourself because you're coughing.
Yeah, because I'm coughing.
Right.
Most
Nick is
picked right
dying over
now.
here. He's choking up on
No,
the
it's
stats
like
and the
Jin.
numbers.
Yon is number 2, right?
Okay.
And Rel is number 1. Like Rel's been picked a lot. Like Rel's a support. Has a good amount of CC, has a nice engage, works pretty well with like a lot of people. So that's why she's getting picked up. There's been some situations where like they've played Rel but probably should have played somebody else, but that doesn't matter. They're the pros. I'm the idiot. Like
they know what they're doing, okay?
that might be true.
Speaking of the pros of the players, let's take a look at the players. And generally speaking, I don't think there's any updates here. I had a lot of Gen G as far as the answer to the question: who will play the most different champions, who will get the most kills in a single game, who will have the highest KDA at Worlds, who's going to get the most first bloods here.
Here's the interesting one.
What's that?
Is that right now, like the kills in a single game, Gen G has it with Pays, which is like kind of interesting, right? But he doesn't have any more games going right now. Highest KDA is 2 LNG players plus Chovy being third, and they're not too far off from each other.
Nice.
Let me see. The interesting ones is the people with the most first bloods. The people with the most first bloods, it's not Canyon. Okay. It's actually a GAM player.
A GAM esports player.
Yeah, a GAM esports player, Kiaya. Has
Let's
3.
go.
Titan PNG also has 3, but like, you know, Gen G has 2, HLE, Viper has 2, like that sort of thing. So, you know, that one might change. That one will change. Who will get at least 1 pentakill in Worlds? Like, as I said before, and let me double check it. 0 pentakills. I was correct. I knew it. Well, excuse me.
All right. Well, we'll see how this develops. It's been a lot of fun playing this game with you, going over these sports, and it's been a lot of fun talking about all these things today. Everything from the Wazzler ruining your Marvel vs. Capcom games into these pick'ems with League of Legends. Thanks for joining me, Nick. Thanks for joining us if you're watching. Nick, as we wrap up and send off to the ether, maybe the rivals of ether, any final thoughts, any words, anything you're going to be looking forward to this week watching, any takeaways you're coming out of everything we talked about?
I got some final words.
Okay.
Commander players, relax. It's all with love. It's all with love. Like, I know some, like, there's going to be like one Commander player who sees this video of me being an idiot and just be like, I hate this guy. Like, just know, like, I just love Magic. Like, is all it is.
I can already see the one random comment is like, Magic the Gathering players are always so uptight about everything, kind of like comment as well.
No, I'm pretty chill about Magic for the most part.
All love. All right. We're here. We love the game. We want to play. You know, let's go. All right. Thanks for joining me today, Nick. It was a pleasure talking about all these things. I had a lot of fun, and you know,
good times.
And thanks for watching. Thanks for joining us today on this episode of the Esports Meta. This has been episode number 32. You can catch us on all your favorite podcasts. If you haven't, all the YouTubes, make sure you follow us on those platforms to get all the latest episodes and news, etc. Or you can check us out on our social media at the Esports Meta. Again, thank you for watching. Thanks for joining us. Let us know your thoughts about these games and these subject matter, and we'll talk about it for sure. That's it for now, and we'll see you next time.